On a quiet morning by a sparkling river, a small mole decides to leave his home underground for a brand new adventure. What he doesn't know is that this day will lead him to friendship, fun, and a few very silly troubles. Along the way, he'll meet a clever rat, a wise badger, and a very boastful toad who loves to get into mischief. Together, they'll sail on calm waters, brave snowy woods, and even rescue a grand old house from a band of sneaky intruders. So, snuggle in, close your eyes, and let us drift into the gentle world of the wind in the willows. One sunny spring morning, Mole was busy with his spring cleaning underground when he suddenly felt the pull of fresh air and bright sunlight outside. Leaving his dustpan and broom behind, he popped up into the world above. The meadows were green, the river sparkled, and birds sang joyfully, filling the air with life. Mole's heart raced with excitement as he looked around in wonder. It was the start of an adventure he never expected. As Mole wandered, he spotted a friendly water rat sitting by the riverbank in a small boat, enjoying the gentle current. Rat waved warmly and invited Mole to join him for a ride. Mole climbed in, feeling both thrilled and a little nervous as the boat rocked softly. The river stretched out before them like a silver ribbon. From that moment on, they became the best of friends. Rat showed Mole the beauty of river life, from fishing in the sunshine to drifting under weeping willows. They passed shimmering water lilies, and the scent of wild flowers filled the air. Every turn revealed another peaceful view, where ducks paddled lazily in the water. Mole felt a deep sense of belonging in this calm, magical place. It was a life full of simple joys and gentle beauty. One afternoon, Rat took Mole to meet his other friends who lived nearby. Otter was playful and always ready for games in the water, while Badger was wise, strong, and loved the quiet of the Wildwood. Both greeted Mole warmly, making him feel instantly welcome. They laughed, shared stories, and enjoyed each other's company. A strong circle of friendship began to grow. Rat and Mole also knew Toad, the lively owner of Toad Hall. Toad was cheerful but had a habit of showing off his latest hobbies. At that moment, his greatest obsession was boating, which he talked about endlessly. Rat warned Mole that Toad's interests changed very quickly and often ended in chaos. Still, Toad's energy and charm were hard to resist. It wasn't long before Toad abandoned his boating craze for a brand new obsession: motorcars. He became fascinated with their speed, noise, and shiny parts. Ignoring his friends' warnings, he spent his days racing recklessly through villages. People were startled, animals scattered, and Toad's confidence grew far too much. It was a dangerous hobby that would soon lead to trouble. One day, Toad drove much too fast through a busy village, scaring everyone and making a terrible mess. The police quickly caught him and brought him before the judge. His careless behavior had gone too far this time. The court sentenced him to a long stay in prison as punishment. Toad's wild adventures had finally caught up with him. While Toad was locked away, winter arrived at the riverbank. Mole, curious about Badger's mysterious home in the Wildwood, decided to find it. Rat warned him it was dangerous in the snow, but Mole went anyway. The forest was dark and full of strange sounds that made him shiver. Before long, he realized he was hopelessly lost. Rat noticed Mole was missing and immediately went to search for him. Through the icy wind and falling snow, he pushed on until he found Mole huddled under a tree. Together they trudged through the drifts, trying to find shelter. Soon they stumbled upon a large, hidden doorway in the ground. Badger himself opened it, inviting them inside with a smile. Inside Badger's cozy underground home, a fire crackled warmly in the hearth. They shared a hearty meal while the wind howled outside. Badger listened patiently as they spoke about Toad's troubles. He agreed that their friend needed to be taught a lesson. When spring came, they would try once more to set him straight. When spring returned, the friends visited Toad Hall to speak to Toad. They begged him to give up motorcars forever and think of others' safety. But Toad only laughed and boasted about his driving skills. He refused to listen to advice and grew even more stubborn. His friends knew more trouble was on the way. Soon after, Toad sneaked away and borrowed another motorcar from a stranger. As before, his reckless driving caused a terrible accident. The police wasted no time in catching him again. This time, the punishment was just as harsh as before. Toad began to realize that his pride was his biggest problem. In prison, Toad met the kind daughter of the jailer, who took pity on him. She listened to his side of the story and saw that he truly missed his home. Deciding to help, she came up with a daring plan. She disguised Toad as a washerwoman and helped him escape. With hope in his heart, Toad set off for the riverbank. Toad's journey was far from easy, and his disguise made for some comical moments. People stared and laughed at the washerwoman traveling alone. Toad rode trains, hid in wagons, and even begged for lifts from strangers. His determination to reach Toad Hall never wavered. Step by step, he made his way closer to home. At last, Toad arrived at the riverbank, only to find disaster waiting. Toad Hall had been taken over by a band of rowdy weasels and stoats. They had thrown out his servants and locked the gates. The place was now filled with noise and mischief. Toad knew he would need his friends to win it back. Toad quickly found Rat, Mole, and Badger, and together they formed a plan. Badger revealed the secret of an underground tunnel leading into Toad Hall. They decided to attack while the intruders were distracted by a feast. The idea was risky, but the friends were determined. That night, they prepared for their daring mission. Under the cover of darkness, the four friends crept through the hidden tunnel. They emerged silently into the great hall, where the weasels and stoats were feasting. With a sudden loud shout, they charged forward. The startled intruders leapt from their seats in panic. Within moments, they fled from Toad Hall entirely. With his home safe again, Toad felt a change in his heart. He realized how much trouble he had caused and how patient his friends had been. Standing before them, he made a heartfelt apology for his foolish ways. He promised to be wiser, humbler, and more thoughtful in the future. His friends gladly forgave him. Life slowly returned to normal along the riverbank. The days were filled with sunshine, the sound of flowing water, and the laughter of friends. They visited each other often, enjoying picnics and tea. The troubles of the past seemed like distant memories. Happiness had found its way back to their lives. To celebrate their victory, Rat organized a large picnic on the riverbank. Everyone brought their favorite food, from fresh bread to sweet cakes. They told stories, played games, and enjoyed the gentle breeze. Mole sat back and smiled at the sight of his friends together. It was a perfect day to remember. Toad kept his promise and stayed away from reckless hobbies. Instead, he focused on helping his friends and caring for Toad Hall. They often spoke about their adventures and the lessons learned. All agreed that friendship was the most valuable treasure of all. It was a truth they would never forget. When winter came again, Mole thought back to his first journey into the Wildwood. This time, the snow and shadows did not frighten him. He visited Badger often, sharing warm drinks by the fire. The bond between the friends had grown stronger than ever. They felt ready for whatever the future might bring. Rat continued to share his knowledge of the river with Mole. They learned its moods, from peaceful ripples to roaring floods. Every season painted the water with different colors and sounds. Mole grew to love it more with each passing year. It was truly a magical place to call home. Toad surprised everyone by starting a garden at Toad Hall. He planted rows of vegetables and beds of bright flowers. His new passion brought peace instead of chaos, and he enjoyed seeing things grow. Friends often visited to admire the blooms and share fresh produce. Even Toad admitted it was his best idea yet. And so, life flowed gently like the river that had brought them together. The friends had their differences, but they always stood by each other. Every adventure had made them stronger and closer. The riverbank remained their safe and happy home. It was a place where friendship would bloom forever, and so, the river flowed on, carrying gentle ripples past the homes of our friends. Mole, Rat, Badger, and Toad learned that no matter how many twists and turns an adventure brings, true friendship is the greatest treasure of all. The sunshine on the water, the laughter by the fire, and the comfort of home were theirs to keep forever. And perhaps, if you listen closely on a quiet day, you might hear the whisper of their laughter along the riverbank. Until our next story, may your dreams be as peaceful as the gentle willows in the wind.